Listen to me, you owe it to yourself in 2025. You owe it to yourself to wake up with purpose, not just alarms. You've been sleepwalking through too many seasons of your life, waiting on the right moment, waiting on the perfect time. Guess what? There is no perfect time. There is only now. If you're still breathing, you still got a shot. And you owe it to yourself to take that shot. See, everybody wants the reward, but nobody wants to respect the process. They want the degree, but they don't want the late nights and early mornings. They want the business, but they don't want the rejections. They want success, but they don't want the sweat. But this is 2025. This is the year you grow through what you go through. You owe it to yourself to stop quitting on yourself. Every time it gets hard, you give up on your grind, your goals, your gifts. Why? Because it didn't happen fast enough. Let me tell you something, excellence has a wait time. Greatness takes time and it demands respect. You got to show up even when you don't feel like it. You owe it to yourself to honor your potential, to do something with the pain, to stop using your story as an excuse and start using it as your power. Because the world doesn't owe you anything. Life doesn't owe you a thing. But you owe it to you to become the version of yourself that doesn't settle, to become the person you were created to be, not just for money, not just for fame, but for peace, for power, for purpose. In 2025, it's not about proving anybody wrong. It's about proving yourself right. This is your time, your season, but it's not just going to happen. You've got to be willing to work when it's lonely, grind when no one's watching, and believe even when it looks like it's not working. Because you owe it to yourself and your future to not waste another year living beneath your greatness. So wake up, lock in, get after it. 2025 is yours if you're willing to claim it. Self-discipline is the gateway to freedom. That might sound like a contradiction, but it's one of the deepest truths in life. Most people believe freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But let's be honest, that kind of mindset leads to chaos, not success. It leads to broken goals, wasted time, missed opportunities, and unfulfilled potential. Real freedom, the kind that brings peace, purpose, and results, is found on the other side of self-discipline. Self-discipline is what gets you up in the morning when your body says sleep. It's what pushes you to finish the assignment when your mind says quit. It's what keeps you moving when nobody is cheering, when nobody is watching, when the journey feels lonely and long. In 2025, you cannot afford to rely on motivation. Motivation is seasonal. It comes and goes. Self-discipline is different. It's built, trained, and developed over time. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't ask for applause. It just shows up in every area of your life: school, work, fitness, mindset, relationships. Self-discipline is the force that turns intentions into action. You can have dreams so big they scare you, but if you don't have discipline, you're going to stay stuck in the cycle of wishing and waiting. Discipline closes the gap between who you are and who you want to become. It turns vision into results. It makes you reliable to yourself, and that's one of the most powerful things a person can be. In 2025, you owe it to yourself to stop negotiating with excuses. You owe it to your goals to stop giving them part-time effort. You owe it to your future to stop letting your emotions dictate your consistency. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits, and your habits are a direct reflection of your discipline. What you do every day is more powerful than what you say you'll do someday. Self-discipline isn't about perfection. It's not about never slipping up. It's about being committed enough to keep showing up even after setbacks. It's about choosing progress over comfort, growth over excuses, and purpose over pleasure. There will be moments in 2025 when you feel tired, when the finish line feels far away. That's where discipline kicks in. That's where champions are made, not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Not in the applause, but in the repetition. Discipline is what carries you when the excitement is gone. The freedom you're looking for, the ability to live life on your terms, to say yes to your calling and no to distractions, only comes when you've proven to yourself that you can be trusted with responsibility, that you can delay gratification, that you can stay focused even when it's hard. That's real power. That's real freedom. And it all starts with the daily decision to be disciplined. So in 25, don't chase ease. Don't chase shortcuts. Chase discipline. Build it brick by brick. Protect it. Respect it. Because once you master self-discipline, you unlock the door to everything else. Ownership is the first step toward change. In a world where it's so easy to blame, complain, and point fingers, taking ownership of your life is one of the most courageous and powerful things you can do. It's tempting to look at your past, your environment, your parents, your school, your boss, your finances, and say, that's why I'm stuck. But here's the truth: as long as you give your power away to something or someone else, You will never have the strength to change your situation. You cannot change what you do not take responsibility for. The moment you say, I own this, everything starts to shift. You may not have caused everything that happened to you, but you are responsible for how you respond. That's where your power is. That's where transformation begins. Owning your mistakes, your bad habits, your procrastination, your inconsistency. It's not about guilt, it's about growth. When you stop avoiding accountability, you start gaining control over your outcomes. 2025 is not the year for excuses, it's the year for execution. And you can't execute if you're still outsourcing your accountability. You've got to stop saying things like, I can't because of them, or I would have if only That language keeps you trapped. Growth begins when you switch the narrative and say, what can I do with what I have right now? Ownership doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. It creates progress from imperfect ones. This mindset applies to every area of your life. If you're not getting the results you want in school, take ownership. Ask yourself if you've really been giving your best effort. If your physical health is declining, take ownership. Not guilt, not shame, but responsibility. If your relationships are suffering, take a look at your communication, your patterns, your energy. The point is not to beat yourself up. The point is to level yourself up. You can't change what you won't face, and you can't fix what you won't admit. When you own your life, you stop waiting for someone to save you. You stop depending on luck, and you start developing discipline. You stop hoping, and you start building. It's no longer about who's supporting you or who's doubting you. It's about how hard you're willing to go for your future, regardless of who claps for you. That's real ownership. That's what turns ordinary people into leaders, into builders, into change makers. There's power in saying, this is my life, and I refuse to live beneath my potential. When you get tired of settling, tired of explaining, tired of starting over, you make a decision to stop waiting on change and become the change. Ownership is the mindset that says, even if it's not my fault, it's still my responsibility. That mindset will separate you from the masses in 2025. No one is coming to do the work for you. No one is going to hand you your dream. You have to own your time, own your effort, own your energy. That's when doors open. That's when breakthroughs happen. Because when you take ownership of your life, life starts to respond. The path becomes clearer, the distractions lose their power, and the goals that once felt impossible start to feel inevitable. But it starts with a choice, the choice to stop blaming and start building. Your potential is not optional. It's a duty. It's not something you can choose to ignore without consequences. It's not something you can casually delay while life keeps moving forward. Every gift inside of you, every skill, every spark of genius, they weren't placed there by accident. They're there for a reason, and if you don't use them, you're not just cheating yourself, you're cheating every person who could have been impacted by your greatness. You owe it to yourself and to the world to activate what's inside you. Too often, people treat their potential like it's a luxury, something they'll explore later when they have more time, more money, or when life finally slows down. But there's no promise that later will come. Potential is perishable. If you don't use it, you risk losing it. That idea you keep pushing to the back of your mind, that talent you keep downplaying, that fire you've been afraid to feed, it's calling you because it was given to you for a purpose. Ignoring it won't make it go away. It will just turn into regret. In 2025, you don't have the luxury of playing small. You don't have time to doubt what you were built for. Playing it safe doesn't protect you, it imprisons you. When you settle for average while knowing you're capable of more, there's an internal conflict that starts to grow. You feel it every day, the discomfort, the frustration, the lack of fulfillment. That's your potential screaming at you. It's not content with being buried. It wants to be expressed, shared, and stretched. You don't get to opt out of your potential without a cost. There are people waiting on the other side of your obedience, people whose lives will be better when you step fully into what you were created to do. When you get serious about your growth, it doesn't just elevate you, it sets a new standard for everyone around you. You show others what's possible when you stop settling. You inspire others to believe in their own potential just by owning yours. But this isn't just about big dreams and flashy success. It's about the quiet, daily commitment to becoming the best version of you. That's where real potential is unlocked, in the discipline, in the focus, in the small decisions. When you say no to distractions, when you keep going after failure, when you choose excellence over excuses, that's how you honor your gift. And don't get it twisted, potential without execution is wasted energy. It's not enough to be talented. It's not enough to have a vision. You have to put in the work. You have to stay committed. You have to be willing to struggle for it, sacrifice for it, fight for it. The world is full of people with potential, but very few who make the decision to live up to it. You have to be different. You have to be relentless. You don't owe it to anyone else to be perfect, but you do owe it to yourself to be real, to be intentional, and to be accountable to your purpose. 2025 is not the year to hide. It's not the year to shrink. It's the year to own your calling, to respect your potential, and to chase your greatness with everything you've got. Because when you treat your potential like a duty, you unlock a version of yourself the world has never seen, and the world needs that version of you now more than ever. Pressure creates diamonds, not excuses. Most people run from pressure, they avoid hard things, they duck the discomfort and hope life somehow gets easier. But what they don't realize is that pressure is not the enemy, it's the environment where greatness is formed. Diamonds are not created in comfort. They are formed under extreme conditions, heat, time, and pressure. And the same principle applies to your growth, your character, your calling. The moments that feel the hardest are often the very ones shaping you into someone stronger, sharper, and more focused. In 2025, you will face challenges. That's a guarantee. But how you respond is what determines who you become. Will you fold or will you fight? Will you break down or will you break through? Because pressure doesn't just reveal weakness. It reveals what's inside you. If you've got discipline, pressure will expose it. If you've got heart, pressure will bring it out. If you've got grit, it will be seen when everything around you says, give up. Your reaction to pressure tells the truth about your preparation. You've got to stop looking at struggle as punishment. It's not punishment, it's preparation. The obstacles in front of you are not there to stop you. They're there to strengthen you. That difficult exam, that failed project, that rejection letter, that personal loss, those aren't signs that you're off track. They're signs that you're in training. Training for your next level, training for your breakthrough. And the people who keep rising in life, they're not the ones with perfect circumstances. They're the ones who didn't let the pressure crush them, they let it craft them. Excuses, on the other hand, are easy. They give you temporary comfort but long-term regret. When you choose excuses, you choose to stay stuck. You give away your power. You tell yourself the same story over and over again about why things aren't working, and that story becomes your prison. But when you embrace pressure, when you decide to stand tall in it, you change the story. You flip the script. You go from, why is this happening to me, to what is this building in me? There's no elevation without resistance. Think about a plane. It has to push against gravity to lift off. Think about muscles. They only grow when you tear the fibers and allow them to rebuild. Your mind, your confidence, your purpose, they work the same way. You grow when you stretch, you rise when you resist quitting. So in 2025, when the pressure hits, don't retreat. Lean into it. Let it sharpen you. Let it teach you. Let it expose what you need to fix, not to shame you, but to refine you. You were never meant to live a soft, limited life. You were built for impact, built for resilience. But you can't reach that level if you're always looking for the easy way out. If you want to shine like a diamond, you've got to go through the process. You've got to earn the shine. And the only way to earn it is to walk through the fire and come out forged, not broken. Pressure is proof that you're close to something great. It means you're pushing boundaries, expanding your comfort zone, leveling up. So don't fear it. Don't avoid it. Respect it. Embrace it. And most of all, grow through it, because diamonds don't complain about the pressure. They become valuable because of it. And so can you. Growth is not a feeling. It's a decision. If you only grow when you feel like it, you'll never reach your full potential, because growth is rarely comfortable and it's almost never convenient. It will stretch you, challenge you, and sometimes hurt. But the truth is, nothing about staying the same will ever give you what you're looking for. Comfort zones are cozy, but they are also cages. And if you're not growing in 2025, you're standing still, or worse, falling behind. This year has to be different. This year, growth can't be an option. It has to be a lifestyle. You have to choose to grow daily, not when it's easy, not when it's fun, but especially when it's hard, especially when you're tired, especially when no one's watching. Growth is built in the grind. It's built in the early mornings, the late nights, the tough conversations, the disciplined habits. It's not glamorous and it's not about hype. It's about consistency. The decision to grow is the decision to stop blaming your circumstances and start maximizing your choices. You will never grow by accident. You don't trip and fall into excellence. You don't stumble into wisdom. You don't randomly become the person you've always dreamed of being. That happens by design, by intention. If you don't set a direction, you'll drift. If you don't have a standard, you'll settle. Growth requires clarity. Who do you want to become this year? What habits are you building? What distractions are you cutting off? What systems are you creating? Because hoping isn't enough. Hoping doesn't change lives, habits do. Growth is also about facing the truth, even when it hurts. You've got to be willing to look in the mirror and admit what needs to change. Stop sugarcoating your weaknesses. Stop pretending you're giving 100% when you know you're not. Stop avoiding the feedback that could transform you. Growth begins the moment you get honest with yourself. And the more you grow internally, in mindset and character, in maturity, the more you'll see the external results. You have to understand that growing doesn't mean doing more. It means becoming more focused, more disciplined, more resilient, more aligned with your purpose. There are people who are busy every day, but they're not growing, they're just moving. There's a difference between motion and progress. Growth is not about being in constant motion. It's about evolving, elevating, advancing, even if it's inch by inch. And here's the real challenge: growth will cost you something. It might cost you comfort. It might cost you approval. It might cost you some relationships. It might cost you your current identity, the version of yourself you've been holding on to because it feels familiar. But that's the trade. You cannot grow and stay the same. Something has to be left behind for something greater to be born, and you have to be brave enough to make that trade. In 2020, let your growth be intentional. Let it be radical. Let it be consistent. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start with what you have. Don't wait for permission. Give it to yourself. Decide who you want to be at the end of this year and start becoming that person today. Because growth doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to work. And the decision to grow every single day is the most powerful commitment you can make to yourself. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not the motivation you need, it's discipline. Because motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel like it, some days you don't. But discipline shows up even when the mood doesn't. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel, I'm still going to do what needs to be done. That mindset is what separates high achievers from people who keep wishing, hoping, and waiting. You've got to stop relying on emotions to dictate your actions. If you're going to win in 2025, discipline has to lead, not feelings. Most people fail not because they don't have the talent, the intelligence, or even the opportunity. They fail because they lack the discipline to do what's required consistently. They start with excitement but quit when it gets hard. They make plans but don't follow through. They say they want change, but their habits stay the same. Wanting success isn't enough. You've got to be willing to grind when no one is watching. You've got to stick to your schedule when it's boring. You've got to make choices that align with your future, not your comfort. Discipline is about keeping promises to yourself. It's about building self-respect. Every time you hit that alarm and get up early when you didn't want to, you build it. Every time you study instead of scrolling, you build it. Every time you choose your goals over your cravings, you build it. And over time, those small acts of discipline become a foundation that can't be shaken. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you become unstoppable. Because once you train yourself to show up no matter what, nothing can hold you back. There will always be distractions. There will always be temptations. There will always be excuses within reach. But discipline is your weapon. It's what allows you to say no when it's easier to say yes. It's what keeps your vision alive when everything around you tries to suffocate it. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being committed. It's not about being the best every single day. It's about never giving up on becoming your best self. In 2025, you have to treat discipline like a non-negotiable. It's not optional if you want to win. It's not something you do when it's convenient. Discipline is the rent you pay daily for the future you're building. And the truth is, nobody's going to hold your hand. Nobody's going to drag you to success. You've got to want it bad enough to show up, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when it seems like it's not working yet. Because discipline will carry you through the seasons that motivation can't survive. You might not be the most talented. You might not be the most connected. But if you're the most disciplined, you'll win. Eventually, the results will speak. The people who laughed will watch. The sacrifices will pay off. The consistency will compound. And you'll look back and realize that it wasn't one massive decision that changed your life. It was 1,000 small ones made with discipline, repeated daily. So in this year, commit to being different. Let the world chase comfort while you chase growth. Let others look for shortcuts while you build the foundation. Let discipline be your strategy, your mindset, your daily practice. Because when you master discipline, you won't just change your habits, you'll change your life.